The alarms blared through the bustling colony of Epsilon Prime, warning of imminent disaster. James Fletcher, a seasoned rescue pilot with the Galactic Emergency Services, GES, snapped into action. His heartbeat quickened as he donned his gear, his mind racing with the details of the solar flare's trajectory. James had always believed in the mission of the GS, even when others in the Galactic Empire did not. The Empire had long prioritized military might over emergency services, viewing the GS as a secondary, less essential force. Today, James intended to prove them wrong. "James, we've got multiple distress signals from Sector 7. Celia Harper's voice crackled through his earpiece. She was the GS communications expert, and her calm demeanor was a steadying force in the chaos. "On my way," James replied, his voice firm. He navigated through the debris-strewn corridors of the GS command center, heading towards the launch bay. The sight outside the windows was harrowing. Fires raged, and the once vibrant colony now lay in ruins. As he reached the bay, his team was already prepping their rescue vessel. Dr. Alara Nova, a brilliant scientist and James' mentor, approached him, her face lined with concern but her eyes sharp with determination. "We need to stabilize the colony's life support systems, or we'll lose everyone," Alara said, handing him a data pad with critical information. "This mission is crucial, James. The Empire's military won't get here in time." James nodded, absorbing the gravity of their task. "We'll make it happen. Let's go." The team launched into the chaos, their vessel maneuvering through the hazardous environment with practiced precision. As they neared the affected area, the true scale of the destruction became apparent. Buildings lay in rubble, and the air was thick with smoke. "Everyone, stay sharp," James ordered. "We're here to save lives. Celia, keep the comms clear and guide us to the distress signals." The first distress call led them to a collapsed structure. James and his team, using advanced scanning technology, pinpointed the locations of trapped civilians. With coordinated effort, they lifted debris and carefully extracted the survivors. The relief and gratitude on their faces were immediate but short-lived as another call came through. "James, there's another group trapped deeper in the colony. It's worse than we thought," Celia reported, her voice tense. "We're on it," James replied. "Move out, team." Navigating through the debris, the team encountered local volunteers, led by a resilient woman named Maya. Despite initial mistrust, they quickly formed a cooperative unit, blending their knowledge and resources. "Follow me," Maya directed. "I know a shortcut through the maintenance tunnels." As they descended into the underground passageways, the environment grew more hostile. The tunnels were unstable, and every step seemed to bring new dangers. Equipment failures tested James' ingenuity, but his quick thinking kept the mission on track. In one particularly treacherous section, a sudden cave-in blocked their path. James took charge, directing efforts to clear the debris and ensure the team's safety. The physical strain was immense, but he knew they couldn't afford to stop. "Keep pushing. We're almost there," James encouraged, his voice cutting through the dust and noise. Meanwhile, Captain Thane Voss, a seasoned officer in the Galactic Navy, monitored the situation from a secure command center. Initially skeptical of the GES's capabilities, he couldn't help but admire their relentless drive and efficiency. His previous doubts began to wane as he witnessed their heroism. Finally, the team reached the central life support system, only to find it critically damaged and teetering on the brink of failure. Alara's expertise became crucial as she directed the complex repairs, but the task was daunting. "We need to stabilize this now, or it's all over," Alara stated, her voice resolute despite the tension. James, focused and determined, coordinated the repairs, delegating tasks with precision. His leadership shone as the team worked in unison, their combined efforts creating a symphony of urgent action. As they worked, Maya discovered signs of sabotage, suggesting someone within the colony had been exploiting the chaos. This revelation added a layer of urgency and danger to their mission. "We don't have time to investigate now. Focus on the task at hand," James ordered, though the discovery weighed heavily on his mind. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the system stabilized. The immediate threat had been neutralized, but James knew their mission wasn't over. As they prepared to move to the next challenge, a massive explosion rocked the underground facility, signaling a new and unforeseen threat. The ground trembled, and the walls seemed to close in as dust and debris filled the air. James's heart raced, knowing they had only moments to act. "Everyone, fall back. We need to regroup and reassess," James shouted, his voice carrying over the chaos. James Fletcher led his team through the crumbling corridors of Epsilon Prime. The ground trembled beneath their feet, sending tremors through the unstable structure. The air was thick with dust and the acrid scent of smoke. James's mind raced, calculating their next move as Celia's voice cut through the noise. "James, you need to head to the Central Tunnel Network. It's your fastest route to the main life support system," Celia instructed from her command center. "Copy that," James responded. He glanced at Maya, their local guide, who nodded and motioned for them to follow her. The team descended into the bowels of the colony, navigating through the labyrinthine tunnels that had once been used for maintenance. The walls were scorched and fractured, and the flickering lights cast eerie shadows. "We need to be quick. The structural integrity of these tunnels is compromised," Alara warned, her eyes scanning the walls. As they pressed forward, the team encountered pockets of survivors huddled in the dim recesses. James took charge, directing the team to evacuate them to safer areas. The gratitude in their eyes fueled his resolve. "Stay close and move quickly," James urged the evacuees. "We'll get you to safety." Maya led them through a narrow passageway, her familiarity with the colony's layout proving invaluable. The sounds of distant explosions echoed through the tunnels, a stark reminder of the ongoing danger. "We're almost there," Maya said, pointing ahead. "The main life support system is just beyond that junction." The team reached a large, reinforced door that led to the central chamber. As they worked to bypass the security protocols, James couldn't shake the feeling of unease. Something was off. "James, we've got company," Celia's voice crackled through his earpiece. "I'm picking up multiple life signs converging on your location." James drew his blaster, signaling his team to prepare for confrontation. The door hissed open, revealing a group of hostile figures armed with makeshift weapons. The saboteurs' accomplices. "Hold your ground," James shouted as the attackers charged. The ensuing skirmish was intense but brief. The GS team's training and coordination quickly overpowered the attackers, securing the chamber. "Everyone okay?" James asked, scanning his team. "We're good," Maya replied, catching her breath. "But we need to hurry." The life support system lay in the center of the chamber, a complex array of machinery and controls. Alara moved to the console, her fingers dancing across the interface. "It's worse than I thought," Alara muttered. "The damage is extensive. We need to reroute power and manually reset the system." James nodded, organizing the team to assist with the repairs. The clock was ticking, and every second counted. Sweat dripped down his forehead as he worked alongside Alara, their efforts a testament to their dedication. "James, more hostiles inbound." Celia's urgent tone pierced the tension. "They're trying to stop you." "We're not leaving until this system is stable," James replied firmly. "Maya, secure the entrance. Everyone else, keep working." The team redoubled their efforts, each member focused on their task. The hum of machinery filled the air as they rerouted power and replaced damaged components. The hostile forces outside the chamber grew louder, their shouts and footsteps echoing through the tunnel. "We've got this," Alara said, her voice steady. "Just a few more connections." Suddenly, the chamber door burst open, and the attackers flooded in. James fired his blaster, protecting Alara as she completed the final adjustments. The room was a blur of motion and sound, but James's focus never wavered. "Done!" Alara shouted triumphantly. "The system is stabilizing. Fall back. Everyone, fall back!" James commanded, providing cover fire as his team retreated from the chamber. The life support system hummed to life, its steady pulse a beacon of hope in the chaos. They regrouped in a safer tunnel, the sounds of the hostiles fading behind them. James took a deep breath, relief washing over him. The immediate crisis had been averted, but the underlying threat remained. "James, we need to find out who's behind this sabotage," Alara said, her eyes filled with determination. "We will," James promised. "But first, we need to ensure the safety of the remaining survivors." Maya stepped forward, her expression resolute. "I can lead you to the command center. It's the best place to start." James nodded. "Lead the way. We're not done yet." As they moved deeper into the tunnels, the weight of their mission pressed on James. They had overcome one obstacle, but the path ahead was fraught with danger and uncertainty. The underground facility buzzed with urgent activity as James Fletcher and his team moved deeper into the heart of the colony. The air was thick with dust, and the sounds of distant explosions reverberated through the tunnels. Maya led the way, her knowledge of the layout guiding them through the maze-like structure. "We need to reach the command center," James urged, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. "That's our best chance to find out who's behind the sabotage." The team navigated through a series of narrow passageways, their footsteps echoing against the metal floors. The deeper they went, the more unstable the tunnels became. Small tremors shook the ground, dislodging debris from the ceiling. "We're running out of time," Alara muttered, checking her portable scanner. "The structural integrity is failing. We need to be quick." As they approached a large junction, Celia's voice crackled through James's earpiece. "James, I'm detecting multiple life signs converging on your location. Be prepared for anything." James signaled the team to halt. "Maya, is there another way to the command center?" She shook her head. "This is the fastest route. We'll have to fight our way through if necessary." James nodded, gripping his blaster tighter. "All right, everyone stay alert. Let's move." They continued cautiously, the atmosphere tense. As they rounded a corner, they were met with a barricade of debris. The path ahead was blocked, but the sounds of approaching footsteps indicated they weren't alone. "Get ready," James instructed. The team took defensive positions behind the debris, weapons at the ready. The first of the hostile figures emerged from the shadows, armed with makeshift weapons. James fired, the blaster's energy beam lighting up the tunnel. The rest of the team followed suit, their coordinated attack driving the assailants back. "Push forward," James commanded. They advanced, forcing the attackers to retreat further into the tunnels. The fight was fierce, but the GES team's training and unity gave them the upper hand. As the last of the hostiles fell, James motioned for the team to move the debris. "We need to clear this quickly." With combined effort, they managed to clear a path. Beyond the barricade, the tunnel opened up into a large chamber filled with control panels and monitors, the command center. "Secure the area," James ordered. "Alara, see what you can find out from the systems." Alara approached the main console, her fingers flying over the controls. "I'm accessing the security logs. There's a lot of data here. Give me a moment." While Alara worked, James surveyed the room. The command center was a hub of activity, screens displaying critical information about the colony's status. It was clear that whoever had orchestrated the sabotage had done so with precision and intent. "I've got something," Alara announced. "The saboteur is a former military officer named Commander Rail. He's been using the chaos to exact revenge on the Empire." "Why would he do this?" James asked, his brow furrowing. Alara continued to scan the data. "It looks like he was discharged under dishonorable conditions. He's been holding a grudge ever since. He's using the disaster as a cover for his actions." James clenched his fists. "We need to stop him before he causes more damage." "Where is he now?" Alara pointed to a map on one of the screens. "According to this, he's set up a command post in the central power station. If we don't stop him, he could bring the entire colony down." "Then that's where we're headed," James declared. "Maya, lead the way." The team exited the command center, moving swiftly through the tunnels. The path to the power station was fraught with danger, the instability of the tunnels becoming more pronounced with each step. As they neared the power station, they encountered another group of Rail's followers. The ensuing battle was intense, but James and his team fought with precision and determination. They pressed on, their goal clear. Finally, they reached the entrance to the power station. James could see Rail inside, surrounded by equipment and monitors. The former commander looked up, his expression one of cold calculation. "Rail, it's over," James shouted, stepping forward. Rail sneered. "You think you can stop me? You're too late. This colony is doomed." James aimed his blaster at Rail. "We'll see about that." In a swift move, Rail activated a control panel, setting off a series of explosions around the power station. The ground shook violently, and the walls began to crumble. "Everyone, get down!" James yelled, diving for cover. The explosions rocked the chamber, debris flying through the air. As the dust settled, James rose to his feet, his eyes locked on Rail. The saboteur lay pinned under a fallen beam, his defiance finally subdued. Alara rushed to the control panel, working frantically to stabilize the systems. "I can't do this alone. James, I need your help." James joined her, their combined efforts managing to bring the systems back online. The power station's instability was quelled, but the threat had not been entirely neutralized. "We've bought some time," Alara said, breathing heavily. "But the colony's still in danger. We need to evacuate the remaining survivors and get them to safety." James nodded, turning to his team. "You heard her. Let's move out and finish what we started." As they prepared to leave, James cast one last look at Rail, who was being taken into custody by Maya. The immediate threat had been contained, but the mission was far from over. The tunnel walls closed in as James Fletcher led his team towards the central power station. The ground trembled, shaking loose fragments of debris that clattered around them. Each step forward was a race against the crumbling infrastructure and the escalating threat posed by Commander Rail. "Maya, how much further?" James asked, his eyes scanning the unstable surroundings. "Just around this bend," Maya replied, her voice steady but urgent. "The power station is heavily fortified, but we can get through." The team rounded the corner and faced a large reinforced door. Alara quickly moved to the control panel, working to bypass the security system. James took a deep breath, steeling himself for what lay ahead. "Get ready," James instructed. "Rail won't go down without a fight." As the door slid open, they were met with a chaotic scene. The power station was a sprawling chamber filled with machinery and monitors. Rail stood at the center, his face twisted with determination and anger. Surrounding him were armed followers, their expressions mirroring his resolve. "Stand down, Rail," James shouted, stepping forward with his blaster raised. "It's over," Rail sneered, his eyes cold. "You think you've won? I'll bring this colony down with me if I have to." Without warning, Rail activated a series of explosive charges. The ground erupted in a violent tremor, and the room filled with smoke and debris. James and his team took cover, shielding themselves from the initial blast. "Alara, can you disarm the explosives?" James called out, his voice strained. "I'll try, but we need to hold off Rail's men," Alara responded, her fingers flying over her handheld device as she scanned for the explosive's frequencies. "Cover her," James ordered. The team engaged Rail's followers in a fierce firefight, the air thick with the sounds of blaster fire and shouts. James moved with precision, his focus unwavering as he provided cover for Alara. "James, we've got a problem." Celia's voice came through his earpiece. "The explosions have triggered a chain reaction in the colony's main reactor. We have minutes before it goes critical." James's heart pounded. "Alara, how long?" "Almost there, just need a few more seconds," she replied, her concentration intense. As the battle raged, James spotted Rail attempting to escape through a side door. "Maya, with me!" he shouted, pursuing Rail. They caught up with him in a narrow corridor, cutting off his escape. "Rail, this ends now," James said, his blaster trained on the commander. Rail laughed bitterly. "You're too late. This colony will be your grave." James shook his head. "Not today." With a swift motion, James disarmed Rael and secured him with restraints. Maya kept a watchful eye on their prisoner as they returned to the power station. Alara was just finishing disarming the last of the explosives. "Got it!" Alara exclaimed, relief evident in her voice. "The charges are disabled." "Good work," James said, turning to his team. "We need to evacuate the remaining survivors and get them to the extraction point." "Let's move." The team navigated through the tunnels, their pace quick but cautious. The instability of the colony increased with each passing moment, the walls groaning under the stress. They reached a group of survivors huddled in a corner, their faces etched with fear. "Stay calm. We're here to get you out," James assured them. "Follow us." The journey to the extraction point was harrowing. The ground shook with increasing intensity, and the sounds of structural collapse echoed through the corridors. James and his team worked tirelessly, guiding the survivors and ensuring their safety. As they neared the exit, the final tremor struck. A section of the tunnel ceiling gave way, blocking their path. James acted swiftly, directing his team to clear the debris. "Keep pushing. We're almost there," James encouraged, his voice a beacon of determination. With combined effort, they managed to clear the obstruction and reach the surface. The extraction ships were waiting, engines running and ready to depart. "Everyone aboard," James commanded, ushering the survivors onto the ships. He turned to his team, pride swelling in his chest. "We did it." As the ships lifted off, James looked out over the ravaged colony. The mission had been fraught with danger, but they had saved countless lives. The immediate threat had been neutralized, and Commander Rael was in custody. "James, the Empire owes you and your team a debt of gratitude." Captain Voss's voice crackled through the comms. "You've proven the worth of the GS today." James nodded, a sense of accomplishment washing over him. "Thank you, Captain. It's a team effort." The extraction ships soared into the sky, carrying the survivors to safety. James knew their work wasn't finished, but they had shown the Galactic Empire the true value of the GS. Their efforts had made a difference, and the future held new challenges and opportunities. As the ships entered the vast expanse of space, James allowed himself a moment of reflection. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. With unity and resilience, they had overcome the greatest test of their capabilities.